Sweden will be the first country worldwide for Coca-Cola that will go into 100% recycled content in the bottles that are produced here in Sweden. And that's unique in the world, not only for Coca-Cola, but as far as I know, for the whole industry.
So this is Här Framtiden, the Swedish podcast on the future with an optimistic approach. We're at Coca-Cola Swedish headquarters today at Jordbro. I'm here with Bruno Van Gompel from Coca-Cola Western Europe and something called Sustainable Packaging Office. Welcome to the show.
Good morning or good afternoon.
Yeah, it's 2:30, so I think it's afternoon. Technical and Supply Chain Director of Coca-Cola Western Europe. We have heard a lot of interesting things here today. Can you briefly summarize for our listeners what we have been dealing with here today?
What we have tried to do today is to explain a little on what is our journey towards a sustainable packaging for Coca-Cola and a sustainable packaging economy, meaning a circular economy. And part of that circular economy basically is to make sure that all the packs come back, everything what is produced comes back, and is recycled back into packaging. And that's exactly what we announced. We announced that Sweden will be the first country worldwide for Coca-Cola that will go into 100% recycled content in the bottles that are produced here in Sweden. And that's unique in the world, not only for Coca-Cola, but as far as I know, for the whole industry.
That's very interesting. But that must mean that they have a sufficient amount of raw material as well. Is this the perfect timing for this? I mean, could this have been done 5 years ago?
Well, we have set that vision that we would be at 50 in Western Europe, that we be at 50% recycled content by 2025. In Western Europe, we have been accelerating that, and we will achieve that goal by 2023. If we could, we would go everywhere immediately to 100%, but that's physically, like you say, it's physically impossible because there is just not enough good material, high quality material, PET available. And that is possible in Sweden, because in Sweden here we have a very good deposit system where we collect a lot of the bottles from the market back again. That allows us to use for the majority the material from Sweden. And some that we don't have yet enough, that comes from the Netherlands then.
And you spoke a bit about how Coca-Cola is working with the circular economy when it comes to packaging. Can you take us through a few of those steps?
Yeah. Perhaps starting with the first point, and that is packaging should no longer be waste. So our vision that we have set globally is that we want to move to a world without waste. In order to do that, you need to make sure that a few elements are in place. Number one is the package that you put on the market, it needs to be well designed. That means as light as possible, as little amount of packaging as possible. It needs to be fully recyclable, and that means that you can use that material and reuse it back into the packages. You need to make sure that all the packs come back, so you have 100% collection of whatever you put on the marketplace. And you need to make sure that the content of the recycled material that you use, you go as high as possible. And this is what we said here in Sweden. We will go to the 100% for the PET bottles produced here. And then last but not least, we also have to look at other ways of reducing packaging, and using refillables can be one option. Using more concentrated form can be another option. So we're really working on each of these pillars to find the optimum solution, or the best solution possible to deliver our products in a sustainable way.
You also mentioned that the actual recycling process will be even more efficient because you can break down the material into molecular level, basically.
Yeah, now I need to become a little more technical. The technology we're using currently today, and everybody is using, is what you call mechanical recycling. And what does it mean? So you take a bottle, an empty bottle. You grind it into small pieces, you wash these, and you remelt that bottle, and you can make a new bottle out of that again. However, what happens is that the fibers, they get smaller and smaller, and at a certain moment in time, it will no longer be possible to really to blow good bottles out of that. And you can compare it with paper, the fibers of paper. The more you use them, the smaller they get. And that's why we have been working with a company called Ionica, but there's other partners we're working with, in order to avoid that. And instead of only going from a bottle to flake, wash it, and then remelt it, we go one step further, and we'll take these chains, these molecules, and we'll separate them so that they become individual molecules. At that moment, you can wash them very easily because they're unique molecules. Then you put them back together, and you have PET that is as good as virgin. What this allows is not only that you can reuse the PET over and over again, but also that you could use materials that are different, like clothing, tapestry, all the materials that exist out of PET. You can convert them back into the same quality as you need for a food beverage pack.
And these kinds of facilities, are they already existing? Are they here in Sweden?
Yeah. At this moment, there's one facility. It's close to Sweden, I would say. It's in the Netherlands, and that is an industrial site. They are starting up as we speak. And then the intent is that technology will be licensed to other companies so that whoever wants to start this kind of a process, they can start that process through that license.
And you mentioned briefly the Swedish deposit system, which is also incentivized, where you actually get cash back from returning bottles into the system. Can Coca-Cola be part of encouraging other countries to implement such a system?
We want to get our bottles back. We want to make sure that we can use our bottles back into and making new bottles. And whatever system that we need to put in place, we will support and we will help with that. So yes, we are working in other countries with other industries, with local governments, in order to put better collection systems, and in several cases that are deposit systems in place.
Okay. Do you have concrete examples?
No, I would say it's under discussions. So I rather not be specific on that, but I'm sure that in the near future you'll see some news coming on that in more public way.
You mentioned a few tweaks to the packaging that you've done over the past few years that have made a significant impact on plastic waste and recycling. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. It comes with different angles. One is you try to remove as much as the materials that you use, and you try to go as light as possible. So let me give an example. When you look at a PET bottle, a couple of years ago, a half-liter PET was 28 grams. Today, it's less than 20 grams. So you try to get and use the new technologies to get as light as possible. We did the same with cans. We did the same with the closures. On top of that, there's a second element, and that is you try to make sure that all the package can be easily recycled. And let me give an example of that. Sprite used to be a green bottle, and we have brought that to a clear bottle. Why did we do that? It's because a green bottle can be recycled, but it cannot be recycled in a clear PET. It can be recycled in clothes, or it can be recycled in tapestry, but not into a clear PET bottle. And that's why we moved from a green Sprite bottle into a clear Sprite bottle. Not always marketing like that a lot, but in the end, when you look at sustainability, you try to get as an optimal system end-to-end, meaning through the whole chain, not only the start, but also the end of that package. And then there is a third way that you try to do it is if there's difficult to recycle material, you try to replace it to buy easy to recycle material. And the example of that is around multi-packs for cans. They used to be in shrink film, but the problem with shrink film is that it's not easy to collect it. And even if it's collected, then it's not easy to recycle that. And that's why we have replaced the shrink film with cardboard. And the cardboard, of course, can be recycled with paper, which is existing in every country where we operate.
And also you mentioned the bottle cap, that it can actually stick on the bottle.
Yeah, that's another, that's not there yet, but that is work that we're doing for the future. Let me give you the analogy. In the past, when you had a can, you had the tap, and when you opened that tap, the ring pull, as it was called, you had it in your hands, and then people needed to separate the two and throw away. That's what we do. Then we have replaced that by something that stays on that can today. Now, with closures, we are doing the same, and that means that today the closure is removed from the bottle and not always collected or recycled in the right way. So we're working on, together with closure suppliers and our colleagues of other companies, to work together and to find a solution that the closure will stick on the bottle, so that when you give back the bottle, the closure is always with the bottle.
Okay. So what do you think it could mean for a global company like Coca-Cola, that Sweden does such an initiative now today? Do you think it could have ripple effects that other markets will be encouraged to follow?
Absolutely. Here in Western Europe in general, and in Sweden specifically, we're trying to address this issue, but that's not a local issue. That is a global issue. With the infrastructure we have in place, with the mindset we have in place, we have the possibility to do these initiatives and to lead by example. But absolutely sure that other countries are learning from us, are observing us, and will try to move into the same direction.
You also mentioned other materials that could be used for packaging, like paper or bamboo or stuff like that. Do you think that is feasible in the future?
Innovation, you'd never know in advance whether something will work, yes or no. We haven't found a silver bullet that solves all the problems at once. However, what we are doing is we're exploring all different kind of routes to see how we can get to packaging that meets different criteria, sustainability being one of them. And indeed, paper and liquid doesn't seem to be a good combination. However, we are working on ways to be able to get that material and liquid into a kind of a form or shape so that it can be used as a package.
I usually ask people I interview, what is your best tip for making the world a better place in the future?
Let me answer that by a dream. And my dream there is that packaging is no longer a waste. Packaging is something to bring food and drinks to people in the most efficient way. And after that, that package material can be reused in one form or shape back again, so that it doesn't get lost. And when you do that, then also the litter problem is addressed. The carbon usage goes down. So that is my dream. Package is no longer a waste. It becomes something that is valuable and you want to recycle and reuse.
And maybe we should stop believing that the world is getting worse and darker as the current media narrative, as we mentioned earlier, because the companies are doing so much now. Do you agree? I mean, there's a whole different discourse now when it comes to sustainability.
Yeah, I think I can talk about me personally. It's amazing to see how much passion that it creates within a company when you start working on these kind of projects or these kind of directions, which is not only good for the company, but also for the environment, and a lot of motivation, a lot of engagement of our employees. What is also surprising is that everybody tries to help. So this is an area where companies easily work together, where governments, innovation, everything comes together. So it's a passionate area, and it's a very motivating area to work in.
Thank you so much, Bruno, for joining Heja Framtiden.
Thank you very much.
And good luck in the future. Check out hejaframtiden.se for more information about the podcast and the episodes. My name is Christopher Nielsen. Thank you for listening.